superstar.
And trying to get some consistency at the top of the order, too, paired with Gregory Polanco, who is starting to be a little bit more like Polanco on this road trip.
Yeah, we really need this guy to play a lot like what we've seen from Marte. Big part of the offense. You look at that over 800 OPS of late. That's what we need to see for the whole year. 8-something on that OPS.
And he's only struck out one time in the whole 6 games here on this trip, so starting to get a little bit more consistent as well. Now, that's another name for Chad Kuhl. We'll see if he can be that way here in this divisional game here in Milwaukee. The Pirates and the Brewers coming up next. Finale coming up in just a moment. Chad Kuhl will look to rebound here this afternoon, and he will be opposed by Chase Anderson of the Brewers. Good pitching matchup here today. Anderson's really ascended to be one of the better pitchers in the league.
Pitching to go well against these guys, so that should give him a little confidence. Like to see him have good command of his fastball, get that established, and then go to those breaking pitches later, maybe the second time through the lineup. Anderson, you got to be ready to hit that changeup. He has an outstanding changeup. And maybe some home runs this afternoon. The roof is open, beautiful sunshine. I think the ball is going to jump out of here. Anderson has given up a few long balls.
Yeah, 8 so far this year. Francisco Cervelli will be Kuhl's battery mate here this afternoon as well. And we'll see who can take the series. The Pirates and the Brewers coming up in just a moment. And we can head back to our studios now and check in with Paul Alexander with a game break.
By the law firm of Bordas & Bordas. Bordas & Bordas, fighting for justice. And by Day Automotive. We're going to make your day. Let's go Bucks!
Chase Anderson of the Brewers moved up after Zach Davies placed it on the DL earlier in the series. So the Pirates will have a chance to face him on this sunny Sunday afternoon. Chance for an autograph. Ryan Braun over at first base. That takes some getting used to, but playing there for the first time in his life. Filling in for Eric Thames, who's on the DL for the Brewers. And the RAV4 lineup for the Buccos here this afternoon. Familiar looking 8 with Frazier, Polanco, and Marte up top. Bell, Dickerson, and Cervelli in the middle. Moran, Mercer, and Kuhl. Pretty much the same lineup we've seen the entire season.
Yeah, it has not changed much, that's for sure.
The exception is Frazier for Josh Harrison, who is still working on nearing a return. And Chad Kuhl getting ready for his 7th start of the season. We'll have a tough mound foe today.
Anderson's numbers on the season opponent batting average pretty low, 220. That's not bad at all. Home runs kind of jumps off at you when you see more long balls than games he's pitched.
Among the leaders in that category, one off the most allowed in the National League so far.
And this seems like a home run type afternoon. You're in Coors Field. Yeah, it's kind of like Coors Field.
Yeah, well,
the wrong brand.
The Honda defense behind Anderson today. Yelich, Kane, and Santana in the outfield. Shaw, Arcia, Sogard, and Braun, and Jet Bandy. Day after a night game, the Brewers use their backup catcher.
But Miller Park is a lot like Coors Field, and it's known for home runs, easy to hit the ball out of. You got a pitcher that's been giving them up on the mound. It's a day game with the roof open, nice, and sun's out, which seems to make the ball, I think, carry a little bit better here, although they do have the windows closed.
The panels, yes.
So you got a feeling, you can't predict, who knows in baseball, but home runs are probably going to play a fairly significant part in this ball game here.
Both pitchers have allowed their share. Kuhl allowed 4 in his last
I
start.
didn't even think about that. Kuhl giving up 4 last time he was on the mound. So.
Yeah, those are the panels there. That keeps the wind from blowing in or on a neutral day.
So that might be, which of these 2 starting pitchers did the best job of keeping the ball in the ballpark. Might come down to that.
Yeah, the similarities to Coors end there because, of course, Coors has that very vast outfield. You can pick up a lot of extra base hits that way, though Starling Marte would probably disagree. But he had the inside the park home run on Friday night. Anderson set to go. And Frazier ahead of the count to start. 250, and that average keeps going up after a slow start, getting some regular playing time. And that one hit deep out to right. Santana looking back, and there it goes. That's how we start today. A home run from Adam Frazier.
Well, we knew that Frazier was going to start hitting here soon. He just, too good of a hitter. I look at him as a 300 hitter. When I think about, what kind of offense can you get out of Frazier. So seeing those poor numbers as the season started really didn't make any sense. And they've gotten better and better and better. And occasionally he'll give you something besides a base hit. He'll give you the long ball.
Second home run of the year for Frazier. Great start. Pirates already in the lead.
I guess fastball about a few inches above the knees.
Statcast projects that at 371. Whoa. That one curling and foul.
No, that one didn't have distance anyway. Looked good off the bat.
Blanco has hit 6 of them, and as we told you a couple minutes ago, he's had a decent road trip. That average climbing back up after dipping below 200. One hit Kamara Barti at first.
Trying to work him upstairs. Well, they're not trying to. They are. 2 balls in a row that in that up and in square of the strike zone.
Well, no secret. Polanco with that. There's Frazier who hits a leadoff home run. No secret that Polanco does not like to be worked inside.
That up and in quadrant, that's where they want to try and throw the ball.
And Polanco down on strikes for just the second time on this road trip.
That one just up, period.
Anderson rebounds after Frazier's first career leadoff home run. Starling Marte will come up. And our AARP take on today. Marte loves taking on Chase Anderson. More hits than outs against him. He went. So says the plate umpire. Marvin Hudson calling the balls and strikes today. James Hoy at first. Quinn Wolcott at second base. And the crew chief, Jeff Kellogg, at third. Broke his bat. Enough time for Sogard to get there. 2 pitches in. Pirates working with the lead thanks to the Frazier home run.
Able to get in there and break that bat. The same thing really kind of applies to Marte. That applies to Polanco. They try and work him up and in, and that's why Marte gets hit on that left arm quite a bit.
Now Bell. I mean, that makes all the sense in the world, right? Up and in, down and away. If you can just work in those spots.
Yeah, that's the old pitching 101 thing. That up and in, down and away.
Easier said than done.
Well, you try to establish in so that the lower pitch away is now available to you. You don't want those guys cheating out there to get to that. It comes up and in pitch. At least that's where the target is. A little too high.
It's always fun to watch where the catcher's setting up, right? Because you can see how good of command the pitcher has.
Love watching that. That's a beautiful changeup that he throws.
Now you were showing me some of the numbers a few minutes ago. I mean,
yeah, that's just
one of the most successful changeups in terms of opponents' batting average.
Yeah, earlier I thought I was looking at Chad's numbers and I'm like, well, this can't be right. We know that Chad's really struggled with his. I probably stared at that 3 or 4 minutes before I realized that was Anderson's sheet, not Chad's.
Cole's going to work with a lead when he throws his first pitch today. Thanks to Adam Frazier's leadoff home run.
Chad needs one of the areas he needs to work is, well, first of all, that fastball command needs to get better, but the changeup, that would help him out a great deal if he could improve that.
I tried a new grip on it this year. Well, works a 2-out walk. Prolonging this first inning for Anderson. Couple of first basemen. Now Corey Dickerson. Still hitting above 300. Very productive first 6 weeks of the season.
OPS pushing 900.
Yeah, hit for some extra base power too. He's had 3 upper deck home runs on this road trip. And has done well in his career against the Brewers. It's been a really fine 5-6 combination for the Pirates. Glenn Hurl's lineup has basically stayed the same the entire year.
Yeah,
and
it's really different from the years past where he would really move it around a ton. And this year he has settled on one, and at least for the first month and a week, he is sticking to it.
Now the substitutes usually will fill in at the spot of whoever they're replacing, but you know, Dickerson 5, Cervelli 6.
There was a period a couple of weeks ago where the offense really fell silent for 4 or 5 games in a row, and I thought then we would see some juggling things around, but he kept the same lineup out there, and then they pulled out of it.
Hurdle said, I won't change the lineup unless you give me reason to, is what he said he told his players. And after 4 or 5 games, he wasn't willing to change things yet. He likes the setup.
At that point, he was probably starting to give it a little thought.
No, I'm sure of it.
But that's the. I can remember. I don't remember now exactly what the manager said.
Well, don't say you can remember it until you
I remember the
remembered
saying. I don't remember who it was, but that the players make out the lineup.
Just past Braun.
And that's kind of what.
That makes a lot of sense.
And that's exactly what you're talking about in this case. Is the lineup is going to be what it is unless the players give a reason to change it by not performing. Guys that perform, they're in that lineup. They will make it out themselves. You stay out there and.
He's seen a little bit of baseball, so things don't get him too rattled too easily. Right through that hole. Bell moving on the pitch. Going to be waved home. Here's the relay, and Bell is in. Dickerson drives him in, and the Pirates double their lead.
Yeah, really a nice, really good hustle from Bell. Joey windmilling him the whole way. There's 2 outs, so you know this is the type of scenario you're going to be taking a gamble. It turned out wasn't much of a gamble as the throw really sailed.
And Kane with not a very strong arm, and also didn't look like he thought that Bell would try to score on that.
And the relay throw.
Arcia's throw was off.
Yeah, he came off the side of the ball, and it really had a big tail on it. Ran it up that third baseline. If it would have been right on the plate, I think they might have had a shot. But like I said, there's 2 outs. You could have.
It had to be, I think, just perfect, really.
You had to take that gamble, go ahead and score him every time.
Smart send. Double for Dickerson. A 2-out run batted in for Dickerson as well. There's Joey Cora, the third base coach. He's been at that role for a number of years in Major League Baseball. Now another man in scoring position.
Been very aggressive this year, I think, and
I agree.
At the right times.
Yeah, make these guys throw you out. I was having a conversation on Friday with Jim Gantner, who former Brewers second baseman, and we were talking about what he sees, you know, just like you and I do, right? What he sees now versus when he was playing. And he said one thing is the outfielders' arms, there are still just as many guys with the same strength, but the accuracy, he believes, is different. And we're seeing that right here. That why not challenge these guys? Make them make 2 very good throws. If one or the other isn't just right, then
I think that all
there you have it.
That all depends. I think what goes in, like if there was nobody out, no, you don't do that.
Right.
It's the game situation that
Sure.
dictates how aggressive you get, if you're going to challenge somebody or not.
That was called a strike. Oh, no doubt.
Cervelli not liking that call.
That buys Anderson a strike. But now 3-1. Cervelli wasn't happy with the home plate umpire last night. Jeff Kellogg almost got run from the game late. And Kellogg gave him a chance to say his piece. Talk about 2-out RBIs. Cervelli tied with Chris Davis of the A's for the lead in baseball in that category. He does things like that, even though that's an out. He's been hitting the ball hard all season. Dickerson left on, but his double brings in Josh Bell after the leadoff home run by Frazier, and the Pirates start with a 2-0 lead. Started. And here's Craig Counsell's lineup for Milwaukee. Lorenzo Cain atop the order with Christian Yelich. The new additions in front of the old guard Ryan Braun at first. Shaw, Santana, and Sogard in the 6th spot today. Arcia, Bandy, and Anderson. The bottom third of the Brewers order.
See Chad's numbers on the season ERA up there just crossed over into the 5 area, and we already discussed the home runs, 4 of them coming in his last start. They'll have to be better than that this afternoon.
Pirates minting him an early lead. Roof open, panels closed. 63 degrees at game time. Very pleasant weather we've had all weekend. You don't know in early May in Milwaukee. Fastball in the dirt to start.
That's not the way you want to start when you're thinking fastball command, that you bounce the first fastball you throw.
Cain very speedy. Want to keep him off. Cool making his 7th start of the season. And in his previous 5 starts, his career 5 starts against the Brewers, the Pirates have won them all. See if history can repeat itself today. All fastballs so far to Cain. Jamison Tyone, Trevor Williams. Starting pitchers talking about this one.
Crowd not liking that because of the way Cain reacted. Tyone back out of the way.
Pardon me, Bob. Sorry. Tyone last night a run over 5 innings. Out to Polanco. And 1 out. And the rest of the Pirates defense here this afternoon. Dickerson, Marte joining Polanco in the outfield. Moran, Mercer, Frazier, and Bell. With the battery mate, Francisco Cervelli catching cool for the second straight time in a row. After Elias Diaz caught cool in 12 consecutive starts dating back to last season. And Cervelli back in there today. He is an Iron Man behind the plate. Usually the starting catcher day after a night game might get the day off, but the Pirates have a built-in day off tomorrow.
There's his first breaking ball. Dropped that hook in there for a strike.
Against Christian Yelich. He has stitched together a 6-game hitting streak. Well, you were in the bullpen last year when Cool started twirling that curveball. What do you think about that? I mean, he added it in the middle of the season last year and ended up being a kind of a change of pace pitch for him, huh?
Well, yeah, I think his curveball is a little bit more of a hard breaker. I think it could be a swing and a miss pitch for him.
There's Ray Searage, Pirates pitching coach.
According to PitchCast, looked at the numbers just today before the game. He's throwing more breaking balls this year than he did last year, according to PitchCast, by a very small percentage. But he's throwing more sliders and curveballs together.
Back to Cool.
97-mile-an-hour fastball right down the pipe. Soft contact right back to the mound.
And these are the numbers that you see: batting average on the left, slugging percentage on the right. The curveball's been very effective. No extra base hits against it this year. The slider, pretty good. Those are pretty good numbers. The fastball, that's all-star type numbers that opponents are hitting when they put the fastball in play.
Almost more than all-star type numbers.
Yeah. MVP almost type numbers. Braun with the go-ahead double last night. So what does that mean? I mean, can you glean anything from seeing that? Is that because, I mean, he throws hard, but is it
well, you can
where
glean,
he's putting the
glean a
fastball?
lot of things, but it doesn't really, mean anything as far as, like the simple answer would be, oh, he's got to throw more breaking balls, but that affects everything else. If he's throwing more breaking balls and the guys aren't sitting on his fastball like they are now. I mean, he throws tons of fastballs, so everybody's up there looking at him. Now if he threw tons of breaking balls, that's not the case. Will this breaking ball be as good then? Probably not.
There's got to be a balance of some sort.
Yeah, but like what I said earlier, he pitched much better last year, correct? And he threw the same amount of breaking balls. In fact, he threw fewer breaking balls last year than he's throwing this year.
Now that was especially in the second half of last season. He had that 3.38 ERA from July on.
So
it always goes down to the fastball, right? Not necessarily how much you use it, but where you put it.
You'd have to look at the games and say, okay, what kind of location is he? And who are the teams he's been facing either? That comes down to it too. The poor hitting teams, good hitting teams, a lot of different things. Who are the hitters? Like Harper, for instance. How many fastballs can you throw him for a strike that you're ever going to see again? So there's all kinds of variables that go into it. That's a pretty big,
generalization
to look at and just say, okay, he needs to throw more curveballs because they only hit $150 off his curveball. Well, if he threw as many curveballs as he throws fastballs, those numbers might be flipped the other way.
And Cool goes full on every hitter, but it's a 1-2-3 first. The Pirates up 2-0. 7:05. If you're one of the first 20,000 fans of the ballpark, you take home a Raise the Jolly Roger t-shirt. Thanks to Peoples. Plus, it's $1 Dog Night. Presented by Sugardale. Go to pirates.com/free shirt Fridays. Lots of teams represented in that picture. Colin Moran, the Redbeard, starts the Pirates second with a 2-run lead. Says he's been growing it about 2 years now. Didn't want to confirm that he does trim it up.
You didn't want to confirm that?
He did.
Oh,
he did want it. Yeah, just, you know, looks good. Looks tidy
shape to it.
Yeah. Got in on his hands. And Sogard tracks it down. Hashtag Bucks Booth if you want to let us know what's going on. Jordy Mercer, a much more close cropped beard going on.
Maybe uses some kind of a guard to trim that one up.
Yeah.
Uniform length.
I like that. You know, there was a time where most teams wouldn't even allow facial hair. It's nice to see guys have their own expression, whatever they want to put on there. Why not? Seems antiquated now. You know, a few years ago that was the way. There's Trevor Williams. Now in the minor leagues, Pirates do not allow facial hair. Down the line, and it's gone into the second deck for Mercer. First home run of the year. And the Pirates have hit a pair of long balls here today.
He's been jamming some guys up to this point. We saw him just do that on Colin, the last hitter, jammed him on an inside fastball. Tried to do it on Mercer, and Mercer, he got the front side open and cleared, and was able to get the head of the bat to the baseball and keep it fair.
Mercer's first of the year.
Watch the location is going to be inside, and he just opened up real quick on it.
That one projected at 405 feet.
The reason it's tough to do that is because of Anderson's changeup. Is that he is always going to be a guy that's in the back of your mind. Don't be too quick. Don't be too quick. Stay closed. And that's why he's able to jam a lot of guys, even though he's not a hard thrower. But didn't work with Mercer.
Out into the left field bleachers in that second deck. And Anderson has now allowed 10 home runs this year, the first National League pitcher to do that.
Got a good pace going, doesn't he?
Well, you were saying it. You were thinking the ball was going to jump out of here today, and 2 home runs in 2 innings for the Buccos.
Man, another 20,000 people probably thought that.
Cool registers the second out.
Of course, most of the 20,000 are going to be thinking that it's the Brewers going to get some of theirs.
Mercer getting his first home run here on May 6th, so everybody give him a little extra. No, he'll still get his share. He'll probably be in double digits before.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a
we're all
home
done.
run hitter, but yeah, I agree with you. He'll get his 10.
Frazier got his second his last time around.
He gets like a hot month too, where I think he'll get maybe 4 or 5, something like that. He'll have a nice little hot streak going, and he'll cool off as far as the long ball goes.
Well, it's good that the Pirates are minting an early lead. It can kind of be challenging in the later innings, day games here. It's not so much the shadow that's creeping to the plate. It's when the light shines through the windows out and over the plate and that should happen today in the later innings. So see, there's the shadow that's coming out. But that hitters have told me that doesn't make that big a difference. But later on it does. So day games you want to score early in Milwaukee if you can. I don't know when you don't want to score early, but you see what I mean. Yeah, the window shines, the light shines through those windows there, and then it's all kind of dark with this weird.
I think in Milwaukee you want
lighting.
to score early and often.
Score late too, you know.
Yeah, just keep it rolling. I don't know what might happen. There's an easy ballpark to get a ball over the fence. Seems to me that you know, Anderson's thrown some really good changeups, but there's been missing with a lot of them too, not being able to put it where he wants to, and so he hasn't been really efficient yet. But to throw pitch number 44 here in the second inning of work.
And that's not usually like him in terms of pitch inefficiency. Usually the walk numbers are pretty low, but he's coming off of 4 walks his last time around.
You know, a lot of times the changeup will give you a lot of soft contact. Also, you know, off the end of the bat, as just barely put it in play. You're going to use your defense and stay out of some long counts that way with the changeup.
And he walks Mercer, or Frazier, I beg your pardon. The second walk that he has issued already after walking Bell back in the first. Polanco is only strikeout victim. Pirates got a home run in the first and then got a 2-out hit to score a runner from first. Why not again?
And another home run.
Take it.
See him try to maybe jam him with the fastball and leave it out over the plate.
Mercer just got his first home run. Frazier still doesn't have a steal yet.
He seemed to be concerned of that right now, thinking that he will be running.
Well, makes sense, right? To try to get in scoring position with 2 away. How quick is Anderson home? Yeah, looks like there's a little time there, right?
Yeah, I think
you could run on it.
Average at best, it looks like to me. I'll give you on this pitcher. I'll let you know what he is.
Bandy behind the plate, above average in his minor league career, and 3 out of 5 have been caught this year. Only 17% caught stealing last year, so that's below average. 28 to 30% is usually about major league average every year.
He was a 137 that time. I think he could run on it.
Okay. Is 1-1 a good count? When's a good time to run, Eddie? Or do you just?
Anytime that the hitter is not, like I think 203 run is let the hitters hit. Now let him drive you in with an extra base hit. He's in the driver's seat. Let him cherry pick a pitch and maybe even hit it over the fence. But any other count, go for it.
Anderson now ahead 1-2. And again going upstairs with a fastball to strike out Polanco as he did last inning. But the Pirates get a run. Jordy Mercer right down the left field line for his first of the year. And the Pirates have built a 3-0 lead. On our UPMC scoreboard, Jordy Mercer's home run makes it 3-0 Pirates. Trying to take 2 out of 3 here in Milwaukee. Pirates are 9-3 against the NL Central. Very good divisional mark. Has kept the Pirates right in the thick of things. Travis Shaw having a rough go of it.
You got to play well against your division if you're really seriously considering coming in first. Right?
Yeah, no doubt. I was looking back at it, and the Pirates, since their last divisional crown in '92, they spent one more year in the National League East. And then after that, the National League Central formed in the '94 season. They've had one winning record in the division
And
in that time.
Haven't come in first since then.
And that was in 2013. It wasn't in 2015 when they won 98 games. Shaw pops to short. I was looking at that 2015 team. They started 9-13 against the division, whereas the Pirates are 9-3 right now.
When you win these division teams, you think of it as like you're climbing up a ladder, but you're also pushing down the other guys you're climbing over. Like they're on the same ladder, you're pushing them down and you're going up. Giving them a loss, you're taking a win.
And as tightly packed as the division has started out this year, that may make a huge difference. Domingo Santana, home run in the series. He hit 30 last year. Little flare that'll drop in.
Hung a breaking ball, looked like a slider.
And you can celebrate your mom by bringing her to PNC Park next Sunday for Mother's Day, when the Pirates will host the San Francisco Giants at 1:35. All kids 14 and younger and moms receive a Pirates bag, courtesy of Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield, together with Allegheny Health Network. Go to pirates.com/kidsdays. Pirates pack up after the game today, head to Chicago. They're going to take on the White Sox in interleague play for 2 games. Off day tomorrow, and begin a 3-game weekend series with the Giants Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Eric Sogard at 105. He's hitless in his last 24, but walked 3 times yesterday, once intentionally. We were talking earlier about Clint Hurdle not really varying the lineup. Well, how about Craig Counsell continuing to stick with Sogard, and in fact having him in the 6th spot in the order today, so trying to keep playing him every day so he could get out of it.
Bouncing him around a little bit, maybe trying to find somebody that can hit behind him, that'll get him maybe some better pitches. Who knows?
Double play ball. There's 1, 2, a double play. And Chad Kuhl gets the double play behind him. Frazier to Mercer to Bell. Erases the single and keeps it at 3-0.
ball game today, the Milwaukee Brewers paid tribute to one of the biggest ambassadors in the history of the franchise. I'm talking about Davey Nelson, who passed away 2 weeks ago at the age of 73 due to liver cancer. He was a first base coach with the team from 03 to 06. He was also an analyst on Fox Sports Wisconsin for the pre and post games and has since worked in alumni relations. Now, he played 10 years as a baseball player for the Indians, the Washington Senators, Texas Rangers, and Kansas City Royals. Clint Hurdle was actually a teammate of Davey's back in 1977. But one of his biggest legacies that he'll leave is he founded a charity in South Africa that raises funds through his golf tournament. Over $250,000 raised in the last 10 years through his golf tournament, and it will happen again this season in Davey's memory. And Joe, I know you spent time with the Brewers and spent a lot of time around Davey Nelson. Even though a lot of Pittsburghers may not know who he was, this guy left a gigantic impact, specifically here in the city of Milwaukee, in the Wisconsin community, but really around the game of baseball. Universally beloved character.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Robbie, because there are a few nicer people, not only in the game of baseball, but around than Davey Nelson. And I think we're all really hurt to hear the news, because that's the guy that you want to come and see. And before we came here, every time I would come here, I'd want to talk with him. He'd always have a smile. We would have a laugh. We would talk about something upbeat, and that was his personality all the time. And I got to work with him a few times on the air here in Milwaukee too, and always just looked at the bright side. And if we could only be so lucky to have the same outlook on life as Davey Nelson did. And he sat in those chairs very often, being part of television pre and post game shows here in Milwaukee. But we're all going to miss Davey Nelson, that's for sure.
I remember they used to do the post game show out on the field, walking around, talking about stuff that had happened during the game. I thought that was very unusual. I've never seen that anywhere else, but I liked it too. I thought that was a kind of a cool thing for him to do. He and Bill would go out there, and you could see if there was something that happened out around second base. They'd get out there. They would talk about where the players were and what should have happened. And that you'd see him go out there and do that. There's Bill in between.
Bill Schroeder.
Or not in between innings, I'm saying after the game, that post game. I thought that was, going the extra mile.
Yeah.
And I was impressed by that.
Doing that a few years ago. Matt LePay there with Renee and Mike.
Bill's the original Rock.
Yeah. They call him Rock too. And caught in fair territory by Arcia. And 2 up and 2 down for Anderson. For the Pirates have homered off of him in each of the first 2 innings. Frazier and Mercer with solo home runs, and Dickerson with that 2-out double that drove in Bell from first back in the first.
You don't see the rope on the neck very often anymore.
That's a good point. That was a very popular thing. What, maybe 10 years ago?
A long time, yeah.
Back when you pitched, it was what, gold chains?
And nobody paid anybody to wear gold chains. It actually.
Going by them?
There was a different reason for that.
Oh.
Yeah, the ropes was just so they could sell ropes.
Anderson out of Wichita Falls, Texas. Hasn't thrown Dickerson a strike yet, but he's ahead. It is college ball at Oklahoma. Former Diamondback, throwing a little bit harder last year than he had before. Really was below average fastball. Now it's ticked up to about average. 93, about major league average these days. Hasn't broken any of the glass yet in that window pane.
Still hasn't. Just needs some put one up there on the top, a little to the left, and he'll have it surrounded.
It looks like when I throw darts down in my basement. We got a lot of little marks all around the dartboard.
Reminds me of when I pitched. There's one in the window.
Well, Dickerson worked the count full his first time around and then smacked that double. Been a very fine 2-strike hitter this year. Nice easy swing, but hanging up there for Yelich. And Anderson has his first 1, 2, 3 inning. But the Pirates still have the lead. Pirates have a 3-0 lead as we start the bottom of the third here in Milwaukee. And it's time for our Lowe's whole team together. The Pirates outfielders have been very, very good at registering outfield assists this season. Both Corey Dickerson and Starling Marte tied for the National League. In fact, all of baseball lead in outfield assists. And then Gregory Polanco has one as well. So the Pirates, as an outfit, leading the senior circuit with 9.
Let Lowe's assist you with those home projects. You got a lot of projects to do when you get home?
I got a few done already. Put in some bushes this year.
Already.
Tried to take advantage of that, all the rain.
Like 2 days of nice weather we had?
Oh, yeah. Into that sunshine.
We got a man there. We got 2 guys there.
That's a put out. No assist needed. You know, looking back at those old box scores, I'm talking about a century ago, they would put assists and putouts in the box score. So you'd have, and RBIs didn't exist yet. So it'd be kind of interesting when you see those. At bats, runs, hits, assists, putouts, and errors. That's what you'd see in the box score. A lot of stress on fielding back then.
Putouts really don't tell you a lot about some positions.
First base, right? That's where most of the putouts are take place. Well, these days,
catchers don't they get a put out on a
strikeout?
Yeah. Or no, what I like if they drop a third strike.
They get an assist.
I think maybe they get a lot of.
If they throw it to first base, the put out is.
Do they get a put out?
Base.
Do they get a put out on a strikeout? I think they might.
I don't know that.
We'll have to have.
Yeah, that's a great question.
The truck.
I would think they would. I think they would. Hashtag Bucks Booth for those who know that. I haven't thought about that.
Well, the reason I think
time.
they do is because
it's got to be, all the outs have to be recorded somewhere, right?
I think I've told this a couple times before. I don't know if I told you or not. But, LaValliere, when he would like drop a third strike or block a curveball in the dirt that was strike 3 or whatever, he would never be able to pick it up. He would like be stabbing at it, trying to pick it up. And then as soon as the guy would finally start to run the first, then he would pick it up and throw him out. And I could tell he was doing it on purpose, and I thought he was just irritating the hitter. And I asked him one day, like, why do you do that? Why do you not just pick the ball up and tag it? And he goes, because I don't get an assist for a tag. He goes, I got all the putouts in the world just catching strike 3s. He goes, this pumps up my assist numbers.
There's a good catcher right there, Bob Uecker, longtime voice of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Now he kind of plays down his playing career a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. So much so that when he made his first few appearances on the Tonight Show when Johnny Carson was, the late Johnny Carson was hosting, at one point he turned to Ed McMahon, did Johnny, and say, did he really play? Because the way that he represented his career,
yeah.
Carson thinking, well, why would this guy have played if he was so bad? But there's the statue inside the ballpark of Ueck, and he was a very good defensive catcher. Didn't hit very well. He hit 200 in his career, but that's why when you hear the phrase the ex-Pirate Mario Mendoza, the Mendoza line, Mario Mendoza didn't hit 200. It should be the Uecker line, right? He hit 200 in his career. Exactly. Lane Grindle, wife Judy on the right. Grindle, part of the Brewers broadcasting.
It's quite a booth they have set up over there.
It's expensive.
Of course, you've been able to enjoy that.
Yes.
Your time here. I mean, it's like a
I've had,
suite. It's like a nice suite.
Way smaller than that. Yes.
Tables back there. There's always a nice little spread, all kinds of food.
Jeff Levering working alone down at the bottom there. And nice job by Chad Kuhl. He's faced the minimum through 3.
Mowing them down, throwing a lot of strikes now.
And that's outside of Miller Park. Statue of Bob Uecker. Miller Park in Milwaukee, trying to take the series from the Brewers. A pair of home runs today. Frazier and Mercer with solo shots. Let's look at our Barrel Automotive League leaders and the Pirates catching tandem. By far offensively the best in baseball. Look at that, 350 batting average between Cervelli and Elias Diaz.
Gonna have to pick it up a little bit in the home runs and RBIs.
Well, you know, that offense that they've had, they've already hit more home runs, Pirates catchers, as they did all of last year. And they're more than halfway to their RBI total from last season. There's Diaz. And they lead in terms of OPS. They lead by 150 points over the second place team, the Dodgers.
The Dodgers.
With Steve Yeager, right?
Yeah.
Or Jeff Torborg, you were referring to in the conversation earlier.
Well, those are both defensive catchers.
Yeah.
Now, Joe Ferguson, he could hit.
Yeah, there you go. Talking about 70s Dodgers catchers.
Roseboro could hit. When he didn't have stitches.
He got hit. Cervelli with a line out.
Torborg, by the way, went in for Roseboro that day when he got hit in the head with the bat.
You and your Southern California baseball 70s trivia.
Actually took place at Candlestick.
Well, I mean, it's involving a Southern California team.
You know, you get back then there was like 10 games a year on TV. That one happened to be one.
That was a scary moment. Roseboro hit with a bat, swung bat in a melee. Cervelli unable to swing his there as Anderson tied him up and got the better of Cervelli. Let's go back to our studios, check in with Paul Alexander with a game break. Old-fashioned pitcher's duel on a Sunday afternoon. That's always fun. Well, Dave Roberts opened the door for that again the other day when the Dodgers pitched their combined no-hitter. You can take a young pitcher out. I think we're going to see more and more of that whenever it's a younger pitcher. Combined no-hitters. Adam Liberatore closed it out. Blackhawk High, native of Rochester, PA. Pitched the final inning. I thought you had a good line the other day, if I may attribute that to you.
Anything you want.
Well, what do you think about combined no-hitters? There's Nick Kingham, who had a perfecto into the 7th in his first start. Let's see if Moran. Thought he had an infield hit.
I said it's like you know, two guys sharing the number 7 spot for a game and they hit for the cycle. Who cares?
Yeah, as Shaw makes a really nice play here. That's yeah, I kind of feel the same way with that. You know, it is a no-hitter.
What was it, 4 guys that pitched in that
4
game?
guys, yeah. Walker Buehler went the first 6. But yeah, you have.
So that you had somebody went out there and got 3 outs without giving up a hit. I mean, that's not an accomplishment, right?
Yeah, it's a shutout. Feels like a shutout, right? It's a nice, well-pitched ball game by the team.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But it's not a.
Now, when you're talking about perfection, though, in Kingham's case, even if it's 6 2/3 of that, and then I don't care what point, when you get in those later innings and it's one guy.
Oh, yeah. One guy. That's not what we're talking about here.
Right.
If one guy throws a no-hitter, that's something special.
But what if
4
Kingham had
guys
to
throw
come
a
out?
no-hitter, doesn't mean anything to me.
Now, what if we saw a combined perfect game? We've never seen that.
No,
before.
same thing.
Really?
Yeah. Well, you got 3 guys coming out of the bullpen, and they had 1, 2. They happen to have 1, 2, 3 innings on that particular day. Big deal.
Yeah, that's a good point. Chase Anderson has settled down. He has sent down 7 Pirates in a row, but the Bucks on top.
Toyota, what drives you?
Hanging out here in Milwaukee for the final game of this weekend set. Pirates trying to take the series from the Brewers. Leading 3-0 on this sunny Sunday afternoon. Glad you're with us. Chad Kuhl has faced the minimum. One single that was erased on a double play. He has struck out 3, walked none.
Hey, that very first hit of the game, it looked a little shaky control-wise, but since then he's been going after the strike zone pretty good. And that's one of the things that I think you have to do, especially when you get a 3-run early lead, is be aggressive. Don't help him out with any base on balls. Throw some strikes, especially when you're a stuff guy like Kuhl. You can throw the ball up to 96, 97 miles an hour. You got a hard curveball you can use for a swing and miss type pitch.
He's thrown a good bit of.
He got an out on a changeup. They got a strikeout, a swing and miss on a changeup today.
Yeah, first time he's gotten an out on that changeup in very few situations that he uses the changeup for with 2 strikes. We were talking about his pitch repertoire earlier, and you know, coming into today, Pirates still have Nick Kingham on the roster, and Neil Huntington saying on his radio show today that Pirates are likely going to pare down to 4 starters with all the off days coming up. There's Kingham, and Kingham might go back down to the minor leagues and continue starting, but he's still here right now. Pirates do not need another 5th starter for 2 weeks.
They have 4 days off in these 2 weeks. Yeah, very odd they're all clumped together like this so close. But, you don't need all those guys in the bullpen, that's for sure.
And Clint Hurdle alluding to it yesterday that tomorrow is an off day for the Pirates, and then after that, Pirates will probably kind of reset the roster, and whether that means finally going with a 5-man bench, which they've intended to do all season. They haven't done it yet.
We'll just have to wait and see what directions that they want to move, but it does seem like there will be some kind of changes.
At least for maybe those couple weeks while all the off days are clumped in there. Kingham on the left has made a couple of starts. He started Friday. Christian Yelich bounced back to the mound his first time. Yeah, Kuhl was, in fact, Kuhl was pretty wild in that whole first inning. He went full on each hitter. But 1, 2, 3 inning, and then
that first game was wild going full on him, but it seemed like he was missing by a long ways too.
Right.
I think sometimes at that kind of wildness more than, like if somebody's walking people, but they're on pitches like what he just threw, you know, they're right around the edges. Can't really say he's wild because that's what he's trying to throw. He's just not getting calls. But when you're missing, like, you know, 8 inches inside, 8 inches outside, bouncing fastballs, that's wild.
And when you're throwing 97 up in the zone,
that's a perfect spot for that one. I mean, that up and in corner at 97 miles an hour. I mean, that's taking advantage of your stuff right there. Beautifully done. Hit that. If you have anything in your mind as far as I got to stay back, make sure I don't get out in front on the breaking ball, any kind of slow stuff, you're not ever going to hit that. Your best hope is, you know, get a foul tick, something like that.
Braun struck out his first time. I talked with Kuhl between starts about that, and you know, looked back on his last start, said, yeah, I didn't come up and in enough. I didn't go upstairs at all enough, really, and you know, just trying to go down and away and really focusing on that, he lost sight of the fact that, you know, changing that eye angle can be beneficial. He's done that today. We're seeing more of that now, but intent in doing the things
too. Yeah, with Kuhl, I think a lot of times the control issue props its head up, and it's not like he's not trying to make pitches. It's just that he's not able to. Like the very first pitch that you see on the board there, the #1 pitch. Cervelli went fastball in, sat right on the inside corner, and he threw it over the outside half of the plate. But he's got such good stuff, it was 97, swing and a miss. Didn't matter.
And that was beautiful.
That was right down the middle in that middle square. Cervelli wanted to bounce that.
LeBron strikes out.
Poole and his starting rotation mates, they do stuff like this. This is some of the hijinks that go on before the game when they know that red tally light is on them. A little bit of goofiness. He said, Chad Poole told me Trevor Williams' go-to move is to smile and stare. This is an awful rendition of a recreation of an early 1990s pop culture dance move that was put together by Jamison Tayo and something he found on YouTube that the guys did. So, you know what, Joe and Bob, when you have a group of guys that have been together since the lower levels of the minor leagues, this is what happens when they become big leaguers. They start this goofy hijinks, fun stuff before ball games. Let's hope it continues, because it's a lot of fun for us to watch.
It is fun to watch. I like it. And from a baseball perspective, too, you know, one of the things that they're doing is they watch each other's bullpens. They talk so much, you know, to that day's starter, for instance. Okay, all right, this is what I saw tonight. And I know that seems elementary, but not all the teams do that. And usually the ones that do have a little bit better success, it feels like it.
Yeah, well, and they're teams that win.
Yeah.
It's hard to do all that stuff when you're losing. Whether it's the talking to each other or the dance moves. if you got a losing, like I guarantee you there's not a lot of discussing going on in Cincinnati, and they're probably not dancing too much in the dugout in front of the cameras. When you're winning and stuff, you feel more comfortable about having fun doing things like that. It's easier to sit down and talk about a game with one of your other cohorts. Did I say that right?
Cohorts.
Cohorts, yeah.
You said cohorts.
I'm thinking about Hart High School. That's what I said.
Oh, okay. Got to work it in. Frazier with the bunt. And Anderson made a nimble play.
That was very nice play. Outstanding. See, when you're winning and everything's going well, it's easier to talk to your buddies about this is what I saw. This when you're not doing well, like right here, for instance, Anderson, he'll talk all day about that play he just made. But you see guys when they're not doing well, they'll come running off the field. They don't talk to anybody. They stomp down the steps. They go right to the clubhouse. So a little bit of that is what success breeds, and hopefully it snowballs, because now the more talking and the more fun you're having, the better you get, the better attitude you have, the more confidence you have when you come to the ballpark. It snowballs in a good way, and that's what I think I'm seeing with this pitching staff.
I like it. There's a lot of talent there, and cool harnessing that today. sometimes we lose sight too with Cool how good he was the final 3 months of last season. I mean, 3.38 ERA. Coming in with that ERA at 5, but at any time can be very good.
You know, that's why I think sometimes, and there was even a fan on that I heard on the post game on the radio one day talking like I was being too hard on Cool. No, I love him. I think he's great. He's got great personality. I think he's a super pitcher, but he has shown us how good he is. And he set the bar kind of high for himself, and I know he could be that guy.
And he'll come back out here in the 5th.
Brew Crew as they try to get a series win. Well, the Pirates, after an off day tomorrow, will take on the Chicago White Sox in Chicago on Tuesday, and it's Twitter Tuesday, and that man is our guest, Jay Hay. Josh Harrison, good to see that left hand only with a little bit of a brace on it right now rather than a full cast, and he's rocking and rolling along with his rehab. So if you have any questions for him, use the hashtag Bucks Tuesday. He'll answer anything. You can ask about the hit by pitches, the rehab, how it's going, life, family, food, fun, anything you want to ask about. Make sure you do it. Josh Harrison for Twitter Tuesday. And guys, you know Josh Harrison like the rest of us know Josh Harrison. You know darn well the athletic training staff, Todd Tomczyk, Brian Housen, Ben Potenziano, have to pull back the reins on him. You know he wants to get back quicker than I think was originally anticipated. We'll see how everything goes.
Yeah, I mean, he probably told those guys, yeah, I can bunt one-handed. You know, I can do, you know, whatever. There's Ben, and I think once he's back, the Pirates have had a very good fill-in, primarily with Frazier, of course, but you know that depth continues to strengthen, and obviously Jay Hay, an all-star. Going to be fun to watch him when he's back, but Frazier's done a nice job, especially lately, starting to pick it up.
I need to look at your scorecard. It doesn't seem like he's getting a lot of ground balls today. Or am I just like seeing one?
That's the third ground ball. Oh no, I'm sorry, the double play ball. So he's getting 5 outs on the ground, 4 batters. News on the lowdown: DeGrom and Kershaw to the disabled list. Both should be brief stints.
Only 1 ball been hit in the air today. 2 balls. Who's that? I can't see.
Shaw had popped out, and then Arcia. That's a good sign.
You have a very small scorecard. Hard for me to read.
Matches me.
What you should have said there is, if you don't like mine, then you should keep your own. That would have been.
You did once.
I did yesterday for
That's
about
what I'm
3.5 innings.
Yeah.
First time in a long time.
Can I have my space back?
Then I fell behind and forgot about it.
You got this nice wide
was
booth.
uncomfortable for you?
Well, I mean, after a couple minutes of it. Now see, this is a good spacing right here, right?
This is where I was like this.
It's like,
and he was uncomfortable with that. Huh?
after a couple of minutes of it.
All right.
See, that's how we
They got a runner on. We got to get back to the game.
There you go.
Yeah, these are very, very wide booths.
It looks like it's a ball on the UPMC Sports Medicine strike zone.
Yeah, Chad wanted that, but it was inside.
First and only walk so far. Marvin Hudson looking to plate today. Only man that's reached has been Santana.
You know, you're going to, especially when you're somebody like Chad, the walks, you're going to have to accept those. You're not a control guy. You're a stuff guy. And you try to keep the base on balls at a minimum. But, and that's what I think he's doing a good job of so far in this game. First walk comes in the 5th inning.
And the last time that Sogard batted, he hit a ground ball, an inning-ending double play.
Now that should have been a strike. He didn't get that call.
Well, that's a borderline pitch. It could have been a strike.
The computer lit up the window, and that means it's a strike.
Now, that should be a strike.
Do you see how the window and when the window lights up, it should be a strike.
Were you a pitcher?
Well, here's the thing.
Now, Rock might tell me that that could be a strike because he was a hitter. Right?
The ball. Okay, I'll ask you this.
I know what you're saying.
When you were, did you ever have like a board or something set up behind a hitter when you were little?
Oh yeah,
strike zone?
of course. Yeah.
And if the ball hits that board,
it's a strike.
It's a strike. You never said. And then when it like just bounced off the side, did you say, oh, that might have been a strike, or did you say that was a strike?
That's a strike.
Okay, same thing. If the ball hits the strike zone, which is a make-believe board behind the hitter, it's a strike.
Now, except there's a person back there.
That's a strike. See him start the chainsaw? He's gonna. That's how they cut that board out, with that chainsaw.
Cool with 6 strikeouts.
Watch Hudson. There you go. I love the chainsaw strike 3 call.
Marvin Hudson, his 20th year. He's a major league umpire. Jeff Kellogg played last night. Another good umpire. Like his demeanor too. Kellogg keeps order nicely. And cool today. You know, he's been able to hit that spot a few times today. That fastball up and in to lefty hitters. Did that to Yelich last inning.
See, that one nicked the board. Should have been a strike. Ooh, nice little slider.
Arcia, one of the few that have elevated the ball today. 3 fly ball outs today. And if he gets Arcia here, I mean, you're looking at this pitch count. This is some of the best we've seen from Cool in terms of having an efficient pitch count. There were long stretches last season where he would seldom pitch into the 6th inning, but has been doing that with better regularity. 2 of his last 3 have been 6. And has pitched into the 6th in 4 of his 6 starts coming in. Go the short route and get the final out. Chad Kuhl shutting down the Brewers today. 3-0 Pirates.
Brought to you by Barrel Automotive. We'll beat anybody's price. Find out more at barrel.com. And by Allegheny Health Network, official medical provider of the Pittsburgh Pirates and fans like you. Let's go Bucks!
3-0, the Pirates have the lead. A couple of home runs earlier. Frazier and Mercer. Corey Dickerson with a first inning RBI double. Chad Kuhl on the other side has allowed 1 hit and 1 walk. That's it. 5 scoreless. Using that good stuff. Striking out 6 Brewers. Meanwhile, Chase Anderson has settled down from a tough start. He has sent down 10 Pirates in a row.
He's gotten efficient the last couple innings too. The pitch count started to get away from him early in the game. He's still maybe a little on the high side at 85 in the 6th, but yeah, that first inning 27, that was big.
But 49 through 2 innings.
The 10 and the 9 that got him back on a good pace.
Yeah, you're about 16 pitches an inning. That's a round average. We see that these days, you know, 100 pitches, 6 innings. Yeah, that's about right. Called a strike. There was a pixel between where that was delivered.
That missed the board cleanly.
That should be a ball.
Yeah, missed the board.
A little breaking ball flipped up there. And that is a fair ball. And Marte can go and run. He's going to have at least 3 on this one. Will be in standing with a triple. Seems like he takes 2 steps to get from base to base.
His talent is, when he hit the inside park home run the other night, I said over on the radio that there could have been 5 bases he would have had it inside the park. I mean, it just.
And look, he's not even running hard until
he jogged all the way to first.
There. And that's not even his best.
Now he's starting to turn it on and still gets there without even a stand-up triple. Almost makes you think if he took off right away, he might have had another inside the park home run.
He's so fast. Now the infield has to come in. Brewers can't afford to fall behind any farther.
He didn't run hard at all at first, and then kind of picked it up decent. Not like he can run, but into second. Then when he got to second base, then he scooted to get to third.
And was slowing down when he got to the bag. So imagine. I think someone clocked it at under 15 seconds for him to run the bases on that inside the park. Well, this is not what you want to start with. Not deep enough. But still 1 out and a chance for a fly ball to bring a run home. Hey, you can come on out and see the Pirates take on the Giants at PNC Park Saturday, 7:05. The first 20,000 fans take home a bleacher cooler bag thanks to Mrs. T's Pierogies. Get your tickets. Visit pirates.com. A little mini Bernie slide. Bernie Brewer, the mascot, that's where he resides. Used to live in a chalet and go down and do a mug of beer. That's a little more antiseptic, I guess.
I used to love the old place.
They still have that. There's a local brewery that still has that somewhere.
Balloons coming out like bubbles.
Infield still in for Dickerson.
I really like the old ballpark. Had a lot of
County Stadium.
character.
Dickerson already with an RBI today. Deep enough fly ball. Marte's speed. They'll come rambling home. That's probably the best spot where you want to pitch him, right? Jacob Barnes gets up for Milwaukee.
Yeah, I would say so.
Up and in.
But, you know, Dickerson, the way he's got the ability to make adjustments and choke up. If he tried to live there every single time, he'd figure out a way to beat you up and in.
And he wants it up high. Dickerson spoils it.
I think he even told somebody, it might have been you, that that was a pitch that he had a tough time laying off last year, second half of the season.
Getting the scouting report from Tampa Bay, yeah. But, you know, because of what you just said, the adjustments that he makes, we see it in at-bats and certainly within games. Why would that necessarily be a weakness this year, the way that he's continued to adjust? But Anderson trying to exploit that. So far, he hasn't given us any reason to doubt any of his capabilities right now. Runner at third, fewer than 2 outs. Runner scores 7 out of 11 times when Dickerson's at the plate. About half the time, you usually bring somebody home, so Dickerson above average. And that will do it. Second RBI today. Dickerson with the RBI single. 4-0 Pirates. Another strong at bat. Wow, got a good spot though too.
Well, upstairs would have been a better spot, I think. I was watching my spy cam over here, and I saw the whole sequence of what they wanted there.
I meant that it was a good pitch for him to hit.
Bandy wanted a fastball up and in. He said no to it. He went fastball up and away. He said no to it. He went changeup. He said no to it. He went curveball. He said no to it. He went with a 3, which I guess is a slider, and that's what he nodded yes to. And then I'm thinking, wow, that's probably Dickerson's best chance to get a hit here. If he leaves that for a strike, and he did, and line drive base hit.
And Anderson is gone.
Reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Jonathan Villar is in the game at second base on the double switch. Pitcher will bat in the 7th spot. Eric Sogard swings over from second to shortstop.
A little bit different style with Barnes in there now than what they were seeing with Anderson. Barnes with a good heater. 17 strikeouts. One more than innings pitched.
Walked more than 4 batters per 9 innings last year. Walk total about that same rate so far this year. This one should get out of play. And it will. Pirates so far blanking the Brewers. Pirates have as many shutouts as the best teams in the league. 5 shutouts already this year. Tied for the most in baseball.
Yeah, pitching has been a lot like the hitting and the run scoring anyway. It's kind of hot and cold.
Slammed out to right. That's a base hit. And Dickerson turns and heads to third. So Cervelli hit the ball hard a couple of times today.
I was about to mention all those shutouts, but then if you look at the team ERA, that's down in the lower part of the league.
If Santana doesn't cut that off, Dickerson scores.
He is very fundamentally solid, isn't he? Goes halfway, waits until the ball gets in the grass and takes off.
And Cervelli continuing his torrid start at the plate, hitting better than 300. Tied up Moran. He's got a 1-out opportunity. Try to get some more separation here. 4-0 with Dickerson at third. Cervelli with that base hit over at first. Try to get that run home with fewer than 2 outs. From third base, 5 out of 6. Moran's brought him in. I like that statistic. Sometimes you hit a ground ball, bring him in. Sometimes it's a fly ball. That way it doesn't skew the stat. Did he get in or not? That's all that matters.
Almost you could kind of take it that ball get put in play. The big thing is avoiding those strikeouts. You see guys that
Strikeouts and pop-ups, right?
Yeah, well, the pop-up ball, like, especially if you're trying to hit a fly ball, that's like, you know, 1/8 of an inch on the bat.
So you give, you say, okay,
so
all right,
like,
you just
okay,
missed.
I mean, that's 1/8 of an inch from being a sacrifice fly. But striking out, you don't get the ball put in play. I mean, choke up on the bat, whatever you have to do, get a ball put out there and play. When there's that guy at third base and less than 2 outs. Don't let them strike you out.
That one put in play and deflected, and everyone's going to be safe. Moran gets an RBI infield single. 5-0 Pirates.
And every ball that gets put in play, they got to play defense on it, no matter what it is. And there's a chance that the play will not be made. And the glove was down there. Could have got him out of the inning. I mean, this ball's hit hard. A one hopper right back to the mound. If he gloves that, he could easily turn that into a double play, get the 2 outs, call him not a fast runner.
And that run assessed to Anderson, who gives up 5 runs in 5 1/3 today.
Rope didn't work. Aren't they infused with some kind of a metal something?
I don't know. No. I've never worn them. I just wear a necktie. There's no iron or magnets or anything. It says 100% polyester. So means it's good. So Mercer with a chance here. Pirates have had 3 straight hits after the out, and a leadoff triple by Marte. Played it a pair here. Marte has homered. Pardon me. Mercer has homered today. You can see where I would say that, because Marte had homered in each of the other 2 games. Just a triple so far for Marte.
Took a while to figure out they were going to throw.
Mercer has homered off Barnes in his 4 at-bats lifetime against him. That would add to the fun.
I'm comfortable with the 5-run lead, but if they want to get more, it's okay.
The Pirates trying to go to 10-3 in the division. If the Pirates win today, they will have won every series that they've played against the division.
Which is a great way to win the division when it's all said and done.
Cool's going to stay in, looks like. He's pitched great so far, just 74 pitches over 5 scoreless. And with the lead, you can stay in there. Well, Mercer back in the 2nd inning came up, and prior to the game, in fact, he was talking with some fans and maybe got some good vibes. 2nd deck home run, more than 400 feet, projected on StatCast. That's worth a hug. Yeah, first home run of the year. Cervelli couldn't help himself. He couldn't say.
Yeah. No one else is paying any attention to him. It's almost kind of like if they would have mobbed him when it came to this, like he would have felt like they don't really like me. If they really cared for me, they would give me the silent treatment.
Is that how it goes?
Yep. They're not going to give anybody that they don't like the silent treatment. Why bother? Too much work. Just go up, shake his hand, nice job. Go back and sit down. But usually when you come in and I don't talk to you, it's because I really like you.
We must be best friends then. This will be the 8th pitch coming up to Mercer. Barnes still hasn't recorded an out after coming on in relief. And Mercer sends one out for a base hit. Here comes Cervelli. He's in, and Mercer picks up his 2nd RBI today. 3 straight hits off the reliever Barnes.
Yeah, like something down on the knees and lined it out in the left field. Slider.
Stayed with it.
That's not a bad pitch. I mean, you can't say anything. You can't be talking to yourself about that one. Just hey, hit her beat me.
And the Brewers this year have had a hard time beating teams with winning records. Brewers are 6-15 against teams currently above 500.
The unusual thing about the Brewers, for me, is that when they're playing well, I always think, well, they're hitting the heck out of the baseball. Well, they got a nice winning record, and they're playing well, but
Complete opposite.
it's not because they're knocking the ball all over the place like I always think about when I think of the Brewers. They're not doing it that way.
And don't you think by the end of the year it'll be closer to that? But right now they're a bottom 5 offense in baseball.
I would think so, yeah. But
they're also a top 3.
Their pitching probably going to go the other direction also. You know,
I think that'll probably even itself out.
They're going to meet somewhere. They're going to have to, if they do get the hitting and they stay in the hunt, I think they're going to have to go out and get a starter somewhere, I would believe.
They will have Jimmy Nelson back this season. Not sure when yet,
okay,
but later in the season.
They're going to try and hold on till then.
But I'm with you. I thought, you know, on paper coming in, the starting pitching would be their weakest spot.
But they've added Yelich
strength
and Kane, right?
Yeah, I mean those are two major additions.
Couple solid offensive players.
And they didn't trade away an outfielder. They just moved Braun over to first. That's a great bunt. Cool is aboard, and on the throw, Moran able to jog home. And the Pirates have another. A bunt base hit for Cool. And the throwing error allows Moran to score.
This is like a beautiful little sand wedge out of the bunker. Boom, just flopped it there and let it set.
And all the runners move up on the throwing error, including Cool, who hustled into second. Barnes assessed with the error there. That kind of day for Milwaukee. They'll try to prevent any further scoring. Frazier is homered today. Drawn a walk and then trying to lay down a bunt that Chase Anderson made a terrific play on. Otherwise, Frazier might have had a bunt hit. I need to mention that Cool's done a pretty good job bunting this year. Not just this hit, but sacrifices. He's laid down several sacrifices this year. As Jorge Lopez called up prior to the series, getting up.
It's kind of like that all-rounder. Been running the bases as a pinch runner. He's done that a couple of times.
Well, in a National League team, pitchers can provide a lot more than just from their arms.
Learn how to bunt, be a decent base runner. Over 6 months. I mean, in one game, it's like you might say, "Oh, so what? You know, what's a pitcher really going to contribute?" But over 6 months, if he makes his 32 starts, there's going to be a couple of W's that you wouldn't normally get because he didn't strike out with a man at third, or the little things like that. Got a ball put in play, got a nice sacrifice down in a tough situation that led to some runs.
Barnes still doesn't have an out. 5 straight singles, 4 off Barnes. The Brewers double switch so that Barnes could soak up some innings here. He hasn't recorded any yet. It always makes a manager
Their
uneasy.
bullpen's busy too. He might not pitch to even one more hitter if he loses Frazier.
Barnes did a number on Hader last night on the Marte home run, a 2-run shot in defeat. Brewers' pen has been second lowest ERA in baseball. Into that Sun field. And Mercer stays put. Let's go back to the studios. Paul Alexander has a game break. Good to know it's not just us.
I could have told you that. That guy's pretty good.
Yeah, he's really good. So Mercer still at third and Cool at second after Barnes gets it out.
Philly winning that game, but they struck out all those times. They haven't won. They're winning. Was it 3-1? Is that what I saw?
Yep, in the 7th in D.C. Polanco's the 9th Pirate to bat in this inning. Every other Pirate has a hit today. Most in this inning. We have 6 hits in this inning, including a bunt single by Cool. Oh, I beg your pardon. Bell does not have a hit today. He has a walk and a run scored. So still time though here in the 6th. Two of the runs have been charged to Barnes. There's Cool, who moved to second on a throwing error by Barnes. And Mercer worked a nice 8-pitch at bat before he singled. Trying to backdoor him. 2-2.
Yeah. Barnes is almost on 30 pitches. 28 so far. Just 1 out.
Those famous racing sausages have been waiting for a while to run their race here. They'll get their turn. Not before the Pirates add on 4 runs across in the 6th. You saw the frustration there from Ryan Braun. That's how the Brewers hitters have looked against Chad Kuhl today.
Yeah, Chad is on his game today. He's got good stuff. Several fastballs up around 97 miles an hour. And for the most part, he has been pounding that strike zone.
Don't put anything in the complaint inbox. Chad Kuhl's email. Trevor Williams, his teammate, sending out a tweet earlier. There's Trevor having some fun with his longtime teammate, because on Chad Kuhl's phone, as we look there, he doesn't really get around to his emails very often.
And why should he?
It's only behind by 26,000 so far.
How did people survive before there was an email? He is leading the way. I like that about Chad. I see that little red dot, and I just think, now what?
Called a strike. And he struck out his only time, as Kuhl has fanned 6 Brewers. Only one guy has gotten on base so far. They got a little bit of Cervelli there. Santana, the only man to reach. Make it 7 strikeouts. Nice curveball from Chad Kuhl. Let's check back in with Paul with a game break. The Pirates' next opponent. Guaranteed Rate Field will be the site for the Pirates' next game, Tuesday night. Interleague play in Chicago. VR came in on a double switch, batting for the first time. Kuhl knows that could have been a strike.
Yeah, hit the board. That's all you can do.
We were talking earlier about whether it should or could be a strike, and you likened it to, you have a sheet of plywood or whatever, that's your strike zone. But did you ever have arguments with the kid? I heard it tick it. No, I didn't hear it. Right? That's what happens when a ball like the first one is just like that. Kuhl thought he heard it tick it. The hitter didn't.
They have a computer that's judging whether it hit it or not. I'm going to go with the computer.
Behind on VR.
You're going to get all kinds of emails from that computer.
Oh boy.
Not trusting him.
Oh, I trust it. I just.
Well, it doesn't sound like it. You're saying it might have been a strike.
You know, it's a good question. When we go to New York, try to find talk to the people that work with the umpires there. Do they get graded that way? Do they get graded as that as a strike, or do they get a little buffer? VR works a walk. Only the second issued by Kuhl today, with a 7-run lead. MLB At Bat, that's your #1 Pirates app. You can customize your experience to catch every moment all season long. Pirates home screen icons and features like the MLB.com Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, live radio broadcast, stats, news, rosters, so much more. Download MLB At Bat today. That was called a ball.
Do you think they might have a buffer?
I don't know. I'm curious, though. So Cervelli will expend one of the 5 remaining mound visits for the Pirates. You observed last night that the Pirates exhausted their...
Yeah, we ended up with 0.
Yeah.
Boy, that was whole pitch was in the strike zone.
But now, how was it caught? Right? It was.
I guess it was the buffer. I don't know. The buffer got him.
No, but there's the human element to the game, right? I mean,
that I love.
So if a guy, a pitcher hits his spot, but maybe it was just off the plate, but he's had good command that day, the umpire might be lured into thinking that's a strike. Just as Cool did not hit his spot, he was to the complete other side of the plate. But
you sound like you're a little old school like me, like you don't care for all this stuff. That you would like just the umpires to do it.
You're putting words in my mouth.
As you are with me.
Yeah, turnabout is fair play. You're right. Marvin Hudson back there today. Why not? You got a 7-run lead. Just come back with some strikes.
I preach that. No, I didn't. For that one guy out there that likes to call in and complain about me. I preach, but I didn't necessarily do that. I agree with you.
That was connected upon, but yeah, you've got a 7-run lead.
Somebody the other day was complaining about me saying that pitchers should throw strikes when I never threw strikes, which doesn't make any sense, but that's what I'm talking about.
You're responding to a post-game caller?
Yeah, on the radio the other day.
Oh wow!
I wanted to explain to him at that time, but just because I was so bad at it doesn't mean I don't think we should try to exceed at it.
You were trying to throw strikes, and you threw many strikes.
Every pitch I ever threw.
Yeah.
Just couldn't hit that board.
Yeah.
Of course, now back then the board actually did have a buffer. There was no computer.
It was kind of turned on its side back then.
There was no computer.
Before Quest Tech and it's all the PitchCast predecessors. Throwing strikes.
Yes, he is.
Sometimes they make a loud sound, but those are outs. And Chad Kuhl's shutting out Milwaukee. Back in 2016, Pirates beating the Cardinals 4-2 thanks to Jung Ho Gun hitting a pair of home runs, drove in 3 in his first game of the year after recovering from that terrible leg injury from the year prior. And Francisco Liriano with 10 strikeouts in that game. Gunn continuing to work, spending his first week down in Bradenton. And he'll probably be down there, Neil Huntington saying on his radio show today, it's going to be several weeks before he even goes on a minor league rehab assignment. Brett Phillips now checking out the card to see where Jorge Lopez will try to pitch Starling Marte.
Not a lot of work so far for Lopez, just 3 innings.
He's called up from Colorado Springs prior to the series. Brett Phillips in on that double switch. So Lopez will bat in the 2nd spot. And Phillips in the 7th spot in the order. Marte stand-up triple last inning.
Out.
Caught Jet Bandy. And assistant athletic trainer Dave Yeager out. Right on the knee.
It looked like he was a little bit sideways. He had the side of his knee exposed a little. And he got smoked. No, it couldn't have been too serious because he's blowing bubbles as he was flopping around there.
To the Allegheny Health Network.
See how his knee is sideways? Came right down on one of the buckles there where those hooks are.
The pain subsiding some. Catchers are tough. Lopez with a strikeout. Former minor league pitcher of the year for the Brewers 3 years ago. Josh Bell hitting for his first hit of the afternoon.
You the only one left?
Polanco and Bell. Yeah. Bell, though, has been on base and scored a run today.
That takes him off the hook.
He walked ahead of the Dickerson double. There's one deep out to right center. Oh, what a shot! A line drive homer for Josh Bell. That is some power.
That'll definitely take him off the hook. Maybe it get him going a little bit with this long ball stuff. I mean, that's kind of what's been one of the things been missing from this offense is having Bell get the ball over the fence with a little more consistency.
He put a dent into that facade out there. Look at that.
No, that's just an absolute rocket.
Look how far it rebounds. It's just, it got out so quickly.
Yeah, if you had the stopwatch on it, then that one didn't take too many Mississippis to hit the outfield wall.
112 miles an hour on StatCast. That is in that upper range. Watch this. How many Mississippis?
2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4.
StatCast projected that ball would have landed at 411 feet.
Not quite to the Mississippi.
Maybe if we were playing in St. Louis
or Minnesota.
You're pretty good on that Mississippi. Hang time was 4.3 seconds. Bell likes that. Home run number 2. 3 home runs for the Pirates today. Dickerson is the second out. Now you were saying that you might see some home runs today, but they've all been for the good guys.
Well, that's the ones I prefer. So that's definitely putting a smile on everybody's face. My favorite home run so far. And that last one. I mean, that a rocket from a guy we got to get going in that department.
Yeah, that was a good thing to see. Bell, a no doubt line drive home run, and an 8-0 Pirate lead. A couple of runs in the first. Adam Frazier on the second pitch of the game with his second home run off Chase Anderson. And then a 2-out double. Bell scored all the way from first. 2-0 Buccos. Jordy Mercer with his first home run of the year. And into the second deck, estimated more than 400 feet. And a little dry spell there against Anderson, but then the bullpen came in, and the Pirates picked up 5 straight singles, 4 off the reliever Barnes. Mercer with his second RBI today. Even Chad Kuhl, a bunt base hit, but the throwing error there, allowing Moran to come in. Pirates were not done. A shot by Bell. Hang time 4.2 seconds. That's all it took to get out and come on back. Bell with his second home run. And on our UPMC scoreboard, it has been a walloping. 8-0. Just one hit for the Brewers. Chad Kuhl, amongst all that offense, has been really good today.
Yeah, he has been impressive. I will definitely give you that. He's throwing the ball just like he'd need to when the team comes out and gets you that early lead, especially when you got the abilities, the stuff he has. He has been very aggressive going after the hitters and just daring them to, hey, hit me. Don't think you can. And they only got one in that column all day so far.
Richard Rodriguez getting up in back of him. And he's got Braun, Shaw, and Santana, meat of the order. Hey, he's earned the opportunity to pitch against their best guys in the 7th inning today. Kuhl has been pretty economical pitch-wise too. This is his 52nd career start, and if he gets an out, it'll be the 6th time that he's gotten an out in the 7th inning. So this is something that is another building block for him. So So 1 out in the 7th. Look at our Point Park tweets, and these are folks here at the park. Kind of a long road trip if you make it across turnpikes, but maybe some folks that stay out this way. Great to see all the black and gold always on the road. It keeps us feeling like we're not too far from home.
Hey, the only people smiling are the ones wearing black and gold today. Big crowd here, and they have been disappointed.
Yeah, more than 38,000 here at Miller Park. Roof open all day today, letting that sunshine come through. Very spring-like day, temperature in the lower 60s, light jacket weather, maybe long sleeve shirt. And that caught part of Cervelli's hand. He immediately dropped his glove. This happens to him from time to time. Oh, it kind of caught him wrong. Had that left hand injury a couple of years ago, and every once in a while, at a funny deflection, he winces like that. Just one hit. A single by Domingo Santana back in the 2nd. Poole has walked 2 today. There's been a lot of swing and miss. That's been his thing. 7 strikeouts. Something else I like today, 20 called strikes for Poole today.
He's been hammering that board.
I mean, we talk about, when we were beginning the broadcast today, what are some of the things that Poole can do to be effective? And we always talk about fastball command with any pitcher, but with Poole especially. But he's been able to be in the strike zone quite a bit today.
Oh, with everything. Throwing breaking balls for strikes.
Got a changeup for a swing and a miss. Got a strikeout on that today.
Over 100 pitches. How many times in his career has he ever gone over 100 pitches?
And not often.
It didn't happen very. They were real conservative with him last year on his pitch count.
This will be the 7th time in his career he's hit the century mark. And if he gets the final out here, 4th 7-inning start of his career. Again, start number 52. Trying to build is Poole in his 3rd season. Only guy that he hasn't been able to get today, Santana, single and a walk. And he erased Santana one of those times after his single on a double play ball. Trying to complete 7 shutout innings. Didn't get the call on that borderline pitch.
Look at him. Ooh, he's hot. He wants to finish this inning off so bad.
You can get very intense out on that mound.
There it is. That one's right there. Obviously, I thought that was strike 3.
Just maybe a pitch or two ahead. That's all right. There's that 3-1 strike. I've done it a million times.
For sure. He got his 7 innings in. There it is. Why aren't they leaving?
Santana, longest at bat against Poole today. This will be the 8th pitch.
Yeah, cool. Right now, I think he'd He knows there's been somebody in the bullpen. I've thrown over 100 pitches. They're not going to let me out of here much longer. Can't walk anybody. He's going right at him now.
And he strikes him out. And Cool will finish his day fanning Santana. 7 shutout innings. Cool and collected all day long. Chad Kuhl blanking the Brewers. By T-Mobile. And Chad Kuhl giving up that hit. That was it. And erasing him on a double play. And meanwhile, 8 strikeouts for Kuhl. Just walked 2. A 1-hit, 7-inning shutout afternoon.
I mean, he had everything going. He had the power fastball, the curveball, he's throwing some sliders. The thing that I'm going to remember here about this is when he knew he might be a walk away from not being able to finish 7 innings, and he kept pumping them fastballs in there. The last pitch he threw for strike 3 on a 3-2 count was a changeup.
To a guy who had 30 home runs last year.
And he made it work, and he threw it for a nice strike. And beautiful, beautiful job.
I hope this gets him going in the right direction. You know, he's had 3 of the last 4 starts have been decent or good. But when you work with a lead, you can throw pitches in the strike
zone. When you have a nice
zone.
lead, you can really, you know, especially when you have the stuff of a Chad Kuhl. When you got that, you know, $1 million arm, go at him, you know, and try and get him to put the ball in play a little early and get some easy outs, keep the pitch count down. You're going to go 7 innings.
But early in a ball game, no matter what the circumstances, he should pitch like that all the time, right? Yeah. I mean, try to pitch like that. Obviously, it's easier said than done.
He's got that kind of stuff. Now,
try to throw it in the strike zone and see what happens.
You are going to, you know, we see this with Nova. Occasionally, he'll have, you know, a couple solo home runs in the first 4 innings against him.
Or he might have some of those balls that were hit right at guys go for hits.
Yeah.
You know,
or he might have balls that are hit right at guys that go for outs. So, and that's really what happens most of the time. So that it really is. You know, we're talking about them talking and feeding off each other a lot. This will be kind of a subject, I think. It's like, wow, I just went right at these guys, and you know, I got strikeouts. I got, you know, some balls hit at some people. I got that one really early double play in the game. Was nice for him to get.
Yeah, it came right back and erased that single.
I think that was Sogard. He ended up hitting that double play. It's just beautiful game. This is really what he pitched the last half of the season last year. When you said he had the low 3s ERA, we saw this kind of effort. You know, 3 out of 4 times he went to the mound.
And Brewers never got anybody to second base against Kuhl.
But he is. I said earlier, he set the bar high for himself. Everybody knows, including Chad, what he's capable of doing. And he could be as good as anybody on that staff.
Totally agree. Mercer's had a nice day. Solo home run, RBI single. Trying to shoot it through that vacated right side. He does. And a 3-hit day for Jordy Mercer. Now, cool spot comes up here, but after 108 pitches, Max Moroff will bat for him. So Cool officially done. And Richard Rodriguez looks like he'll be coming in next. This is probably the best game Chad's ever pitched for the Pirates. 1 hit.
Darn good one.
7 innings and 8 strikeouts, which ties a career high. A couple of walks. You think
it did at an important time.
I was just going to say
a rubber
thing.
match against the division rival, a team that's been out playing well, and these are important games. It didn't matter it's early May. Who cares? We've run into this, I think, occasionally over the last couple seasons. You know, where we rationalize it's early. It doesn't matter. You know, and then you get in this, August and September, and you're thinking, wow, I wish we could have done a little bit better early in the season.
I mean, even the 98 win team, the postseason teams, 14-15 slow starts. I mean,
so
all
maybe you end up winning
yeah.
It might make the difference between actually winning the division and having to have the play-in game to get into the playoffs.
And you think back in the 14 season, Milwaukee was in first the whole year, and they built that lead up, and that gave them a lot of room. But they were so bad in the last 6 weeks of the season or whatever that they ended up slipping out. But they gave themselves room to even just play so-so baseball and still back into the postseason. But Pirates and the Giants were the wild card entrants, not Milwaukee that year. So look at there's.
Wish it would have been Milwaukee.
Talking pitcher, right?
Wouldn't have had to face
Kyle Loesch maybe or something, right?
Big lefty.
Madison Bumgarner.
He did it to us that year.
Well, that's when he really came on the scene.
Yeah, that was his breakout season.
One of the best postseasons, probably the best postseason of all time for a pitcher. Frazier with a home run on the second pitch of the ball game. That set the tone. It's pretty nice when you've got a lead from the second pitch on in the ball game. Josh Bell a homer today. Line drive shot. That was last inning. Three home runs today. Great pitching and great hitting in the same game. That's what makes those days fun. Santana elects to play that on a hop. That will load the bases here, and Gregory Polanco coming up. As you enjoy a Miller Lite, look forward to the whole true moment later in today's game. Most pitches ever thrown in a game for Cool, 108 today. 7 innings tying a career high. 8 strikeouts tying a career high. Probably the best game he's pitched. And
he won't melt either. He'll be fine.
Yeah. Polanco 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts today. As a grand slam, that was down in Miami. Walk and 2 singles. And you're saying, Bob, I mean, that makes a lot of sense too. You think about continuing to win series against the division. Assuming the Pirates win today, they will have won every series they've played against the division. That includes, you know, 4-game set against the Reds. And I know the Reds are down this year, but still to win a 4-game series. Challenging to win at Chicago 2 out of 3. Ballpark's going to hold it, but plenty deep enough. Moran can trot home. Mercer moves up 2, and Polanco with his 18th run batted in.
Well, it's important, I think, too, to win against the White Sox. Keep the Chicago fan in fear of us. The next 2 games set the tone.
Just in case any of the Northsiders come down for just gather some intel.
Well, they'll know we're in town. Just make sure we, in their mind right now, from the series against the Cubs, they're in fear of the Pirate. They don't like the Jolly Roger.
They haven't hoisted the white flag just yet. Being in early May, but
they did the white flag with the blue L on it. I saw that go up the pole a couple times.
Marte a standing triple back in the 6th. Coming into today, Pirates, Cubs, these Brewers, and the Cardinals all bunched together by 2.5 games. And that airtight Central. I hope we look up at Labor Day and see it tight like that. I think that's fun. And then the Pirates can go 20-5 in September.
Right. Maybe the Reds will get in it too.
I thought, you know what, I thought they would be pretty competitive this year. I thought they were going to take another step forward. I like their young starting pitching, but they have not obviously put it together yet. The Reds. Biggest surprise for me, Luis Castillo, who I thought would emerge, has not yet. Just goes to show you don't know. Just like this Pirate team. And right now they've played some good baseball. You know, Marte's been consistent all year. Looking to Polanco to get more consistent, but that early start, you know, he's still on a pace to drive in 80 runs this year. Bell, same thing. He's on pace to drive in 80 runs, even though he hasn't been his best yet at the plate this year. Pirates add a run, trying to get that win for Chad Kuhl. 9-0 Buccos. Giants on a Free Shirt Friday this Friday at 7:05. If you're one of the first 20,000 fans in the ballpark, you take home a Raise the Jolly Roger t-shirt thanks to Peoples. Plus, it's Dollar Dog Night presented by Sugardale. Go to pirates.com/Free Shirt Fridays. There's Sean Rodriguez, our model.
Looks like he just got off the pirate ship. Had that look about him. All he needs is a cutlass. Maybe an eye patch.
Richard Rodriguez, a new Pirate.
Might be hard to find an Oldsmobile nowadays.
Oh, yeah. Might be talking about that right now. Max Moroff staying in the game to play short. Give Jordy Mercer the rest of the day off. And Rodriguez going upstairs, as we've seen from him.
That's his style right there. Swing and a miss, fastball, top of the zone. He owns the top edge of the board.
And, you know, velocity, that's an average velocity fastball, but sometimes we see 94s from him. But we see a lot of swings and misses on those fastballs, especially up.
I think that one even up.
And the strikeout numbers in the very little time that he's been here, I mean, he's getting close to almost 2 per inning.
I've got to where I like it when he goes out there. I have a lot of confidence in him.
He has been a kind of a journeyman in the minor leagues. And credit the Pirates for picking him up in the offseason as a minor league free agent. Only big league time was just 5 appearances last year with the Orioles. There's Ray Searage. He was outrighted by the Orioles during the season in September last year, and Pirates brought him in, non-roster invitee, and then brought him back up about 2 weeks into the season when the bullpen was faltering, and he has been rock solid. Now he's pitched in, you know, what they call a low leverage situation. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, I feel like if he had pitched in, say, like the game last night, it was a tie ball game. Well, I went with Crick. Crick's been pitching great. That's fine. I went with Santana. Santana's been pitching great. But if they wanted to continue Rodriguez, I wouldn't have batted an eyelash if run him in that tie game, the way that he's been pitching.
I agree. Like I said, I'm very comfortable with him going out there. Pitch anytime he wants.
And that's a compliment to Rodriguez because he's continued to earn that trust. He's 28 years old. Out of Santiago in the Dominican Republic. But really good numbers in the upper minor leagues in his career. 2.5 ERA. Well, he thought he.
No, he didn't think. He did.
Yeah. He thought he had the strike call. He thought he had the strike call. But it was not called a strike. That's accurate.
Was not called a strike.
Right. He thought he had the strike call. We've been bickering over whether a strike is a strike.
No, I've just been watching the strike zone.
That's also a strike. Rodriguez strikes out the side. 9-0 as we go to the ninth.
Chevy dealers. And by Levin's, the official furniture and mattress supplier to the Pittsburgh Pirates. For the best quality, service, and value, shop Levin's. Let's go Bucks!
Bucco fans liking this one. 9-0. All Pirates here this afternoon. Poised to take 2 out of 3 here in Milwaukee. And keep their streak of winning every divisional series going. Phillips is now in center field. And Taylor Williams is on the mound.
And Williams, another hard thrower out of that pen. That really is one of the reasons that the Brewers have been able to win without you know, a lot of offense that we thought they were going to get, that they probably will get. Their bullpen has been extremely tough.
Hernan Perez now in the game in left. Sorry, Bob.
Coming into this series, I think didn't they have 6 guys with 1-something ERAs out there?
It's pretty good.
Pretty impressive.
Bell with a pretty impressive home run his last time. You had guesstimated that it was took about 4 seconds to get out of here.
A little more than 4.
Found an official word at 4.2. And then he goes the other way, but foul. Bell has been a guy that hits a lot of ground balls, and only he and Eric Hosmer last year had it. They had the 2 highest ground ball rates among 25 home run hitters last year. So he's still able to hit the ball out of the ballpark just fine. But with that new launch angle craze, sometimes you get hitters swings out of whack if they try to buy into it. I'm not sure if that happened with Bell or not, but nothing wrong with a hard hit ground ball that gets through. But I think the stats show you that balls hit in the air have a better chance of being better hits.
It's not really a craze to hit the ball into the outfield. Nobody, maybe 1 out of 100 players try to hit ground balls. Everybody tries to hit the ball in the air. Everybody for 50 years tries to hit the ball in the air.
You're talking about maybe like a real, like a Billy Hamilton, right? Who might want to
somebody
hit the ball
like that,
take advantage of his speed, but doesn't have hardly any power.
You know, in my day, like a Vince Coleman, they would always got to put the ball on the ground. You know, those type of guys. But for the most part, everybody's trying to hit the ball into the air. And the pitchers, what are the pitchers constantly trying to do? They're trying to get ground balls. So why would they wouldn't both be trying to get ground balls? Hitters and pitchers.
Yeah, it would seem they wouldn't be on the same page with that. That's ruled a strikeout.
Oh, I thought it was a foul ball.
So did Bell. Let's look at our Allegheny Health Network Supermo to see if we can definitively tell right there.
It was not
I don't think you made contact.
He did not make contact with it. That was a swing and a miss.
You may wonder in real time, how do umpires know that?
They hear it tick the board.
They hear it better than seeing that.
Yeah, I don't think that anybody's ever said, "Oh, I saw it tick the bat."
These days, being able to slow down the video, you could see things with better definition than ever.
See what part of the baseball ticked the bat. It's amazing.
Hard hit and another base hit for Corey Dickerson. 3 hits today. Made a loud thwack.
I can't quite see the P on his helmet anymore.
A lot of pine tar. Elias Diaz will bat for Cervelli.
Think what that helmet's going to look like in June. It'll be dripping off there.
Diaz has been a very good compliment to the man in the middle. Cervelli coming in batting over 300, and Diaz nearly at 400. Average is dipped down to a meager 395. A couple of home runs, has really driven the ball again with consistency. Rookie got him out in front. Be a nice bus ride down to Chicago for the Buccos. Moran out on deck. He's driven in a run today. You look up and down the order. Just about everybody. Well, everybody's done something. They've either had hits or driven in runs, and many have done both. Blanco with an RBI today on a sac fly. And then, of course, Chad Kuhl, really a resurgent outing today. 1 hit over 7 scoreless innings. 8 strikeouts. 2 walks. Got to make the skipper pleased. Try to take 2 out of 3 here in Milwaukee.
Taylor Clint's mixing some bubblegum back in occasionally.
Yeah. He had given it up for a while there. 13. Murray used to have 13 pieces for his uniform number 13. Looks like that's just a 2 or 3 maybe. That's it.
Might not be bubblegum.
Yeah. Might be a spearmint.
Yeah, this close to Wrigley.
The first corporate named stadium, right?
I think so.
Moran had an infield hit deflecting off the pitcher's glove that drove in a run. Back in the 6th inning. Walked and scored in the 8th. Telling you about that light from the windows. When that gets out over home plate, sometimes it could be pretty difficult for the hitter to pick up the ball. And I quipped earlier, well, you better put up some runs early. It might be tougher to hit late. Well, the Pirates done a little bit of everything today.
Broke the game open in the 6th, added 1 in the 7th. They are hitting machines today.
Richard Rodriguez might get a chance to bat. He's on deck. Pirates pitcher. Didn't get the call. Bandy sets up away. And it was away, but too far so. And Richard Rodriguez will come up for a chance to hit a 3-run home run.
No gloves. No pine tar. Let it rip.
Trying to make a name for himself at the plate. It's already his second at bat this year. Struck out his only time. The public address announcer announced him as Sean Rodriguez.
Watch that front foot go on the bucket. Watch his front foot where he steps. Oh, he'll really step toward third now.
Well, Rodriguez had never had a professional plate appearance until earlier this year with the Pirates. He does not want to stay in there.
Watch the front foot. Look out, bucket. Here I come.
I mean, just opening up very early. Is that stepping in the bucket? Is that
Stepping in the bucket is when you step toward third base with that left foot. And that's what he's doing. That's
kind of bailing out.
Showing a little fear of the baseball.
Everybody enjoying looking on.
Marte. Look where he steps. He's on the chalk.
Trying to play hitting coach. Hang in there. You can do it.
Look at him. He's enjoying it.
Well, Williams gets his man. Maybe the third time will be the charm. Nine 9-0 have the lead here in the ninth. And the Pirates going to take the day off tomorrow before opening up a brief 2-game interleague series against the White Sox on the south side of Chicago. And Ivan Nova will get the start for the Pirates against Lucas Giolito. And ERA north of 7 with the young pitcher. Our coverage starts at 7:30 with Pirates pregame presented by WB Mason. Nova talking this one over. Some of the other Pirates pitchers and Josh Harrison in there as well.
He's a pitcher.
It has been, yes.
Yeah. Very successful major league pitcher.
VR. Perez, and then the pitcher spot for Milwaukee in the ninth against Richard Rodriguez, who struck out all 3 men in the 8th. All started with Chad Kuhl today. 7 shutout innings, 1 hit. I was looking at it in this century, so 2000 and beyond. Pirates have had 13 starts now like that. 1 hit or no hits. No runs and 7 innings or more. Rodriguez has struck out all 4 men he's faced. It's only happened 13 times, but 3 times this season. Kingham, Tyone shutout, and now Kuhl. And Chad Kuhl will be joining Robbie and Smokowski on the field following this one. Where the Pirates will take 2 out of 3 from the Brewers. Hernan Perez batting for the first time. That was off of the mound or Rodriguez or both. Just the second hit today for Milwaukee.
The first ball was put in play off Rodriguez. Breaking ball down and away.
Aguilar will pinch hit for Milwaukee. And with the lead as such, they won't hold on Perez. This is going to be real similar to what happened with Tyone's complete game shutout last month. The Pirates have not allowed a runner in scoring position all day. And what happened, it was a runner in the 9th with 2 outs moved to second in that Tyone shutout. It moved on indifference just as Perez does here. And that's the first time a man in scoring position. Pirates have not and still will not have limited an opponent to not reach scoring position since Randy Tomlin threw a 3-hit complete game shutout back against the Reds in 1991. But it could have happened in the Tyone game. If it weren't for a one-sided score, and same thing here. Unless Aguilar does something. One call to ball.
Pretty amazing that was called a ball.
Yeah, Diaz really had to move his glove. I guess that was what fooled Hudson.
Kind of the strike zone matters, isn't it?
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, I could see a borderline pitch, but what was borderline about that 3rd pitch? Talking about a 9-0 game in the last inning.
Well, he said that he went.
Yeah.
There's your.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
So 5 strikeouts for Rodriguez. He has struck out 20 batters in 11 innings with the Pirates this year. And now he faces Ryan Braun. 0 for 3 today. Again, stay tuned after the game. Robbie will be visiting with Chad Kuhl. Brilliant performance on the mound. Got to pitch with a lead throughout. Seven shutout, 1-hit innings for Kuhl. And Richard Rodriguez has done nothing but continue that. All 5 of the outs via the strikeout.
How defensive the swings are.
Yeah, look at that. And this Ryan brought up.
Is it the lighting that's going on? Or
I mean,
what?
that could be part of it, but we've seen this in all lights.
He's acting like he can't see anything.
Now that does play into it some, but Rodriguez, we've seen that fastball gets on guys, and he strikes out 6 in his 2-inning relief appearance. Great outing for Rodriguez to pick up for Cool, who was just sensational today.
This was a great win for everybody. It started with the Frazier home run to get the ball rolling today. The bats just crushed it. Beautiful ball game, and obviously Cool went out and he took care of business today.
Pirates pitchers strike out 14 Brewers. They amass 2 singles. That's it. And 3